And there he's being helped into his seat.
Is this the one that's going? Yeah, we can see here, as I talked about, you can see that there's both guys in there happen. That's Joe Akabe has his hand on his head there, and that's the astronaut that's in there. You can kind of see Drew's leg on the bottom there. He's going to get up here and start helping Scorch get everything all settled. And Joe's job at this point is essentially to help Drew. Drew is the suit insertion tech, is responsible for getting Charlie all strapped in and all set up correctly. And Joe essentially is helping him. You'll see him handing the parachute straps and the comm gear, help with the helmet. You saw him protecting Scorch's head as he got into his seat to make sure that we don't injure a crew member. So it's a very difficult process with these bulky suits to actually get on board and get in the right place. And so it really helps to have two folks. You can see kind of in the background there, Joe is actually standing on platforms. His feet are at the lower right of your picture. Those are actually the aft windows that we have hard deck plates on over to protect the windows, so he's not actually standing on the windows. And so you can see there's switches all over the place, so you have to be very careful. It's kind of like an involved dance to get somebody in there.
Who's the last person out before launch?
The last person out before launch will be normally the astronaut comes out last. So they'll be the one, and what they do when they come out is they pull all the pads and all the covers and things like that. And we have very specific checklists that Renee actually is number one. Make sure that everything comes out, and he's got to check all that out. And so does Jack. Jack will make sure as well and check everything off. We kind of do a triple check. The astronaut gets everything out, and then the USA lead, Renee, checks everything to make sure everything came out. And then Jack triple checks it to make sure everything came out, because you don't want to leave one of those covers in place on board. Some of them are very heavy duty. As you can see, Joe standing on some of them. So they're pretty heavy duty pieces of gear. You don't want those floating around on board. So we have hard panels and soft panels that cover a whole bunch of things, and we keep very strict control. Anything that crosses the hatch going in is accounted for, configuration management, and we need to make sure that when we come out, everything that was in there that's spare, that's not supposed to go on orbit, comes back out. So we take very strict control over those things. We inventory them all the time. We inventory them before they go in, as they go in, when they're in, and as they come out, and when they're out. So we almost do it 5 times, just to make sure that we don't leave anything in the wrong place. Okay, we're back on board the flight deck now, and you can actually see Butch Wilmer getting in his seat. You can see it's a pretty involved process getting your legs down in there with the big orange suit on, the launch and entry suit. So you can see him getting down in position there. Once again, we've got Joe standing on the floor behind him. He's going to help get him in, as well as Drew will be standing on the mission specialist number 2 seat to help him get all connected up. So it's very important. You can see Butch here trying to push himself as far down in the seat as possible. That's very necessary to get the parachute on right and everything like that. And it's hard to push yourself into your seat because you're in the vertical. So getting yourself down against the seat pan is a very important thing, and you can see it's a little bit of a struggle.
Go ahead.
Number 3 getting up there, and he's helping Butch with his comm cap. You have this communication cap which comes on. You can see the microphones. There's boom mics that come out of either side that are right by the corner of your mouth. They're much like the military uses. That little white cord that he was tucking inside the comm cap there, you'll see once he gets his helmet on here that there is a cord that Drew was just holding in his left hand that comes out of the helmet and connects to the cord from your comm cap. So once he gets the helmet on, you'll actually see him connect those 2 communication cords together. Then there's another busy all the way through, taking care of a lot of briefings. You have to get range safety briefings and talking to different entities, and you get orbiter briefings on how the orbiter's doing and what systems they've had problems with or had to fix during the flow, all those kind of things. And we specifically do that so when you get to launch time frame, there's far less to do so that these guys can just relax. Time these guys have been there to get familiar with them, see what they like, what they don't like. Every crew member is a little bit different in there. There's a lot of choices they have for comfort gear, for the pads that they can blow up, for the liquid cooling garments we talked about. The flight data file, you can see he's putting a checklist on his right thigh there. You know, how many flashlights do they want, how many pens and pencils, where do they want them. There's a lot of individual things you can do for each crew member which really help that crew member out. We try to do all those little things because it just makes it so much easier on the crew members. So they spend a lot of time with the crews. Since they're the ones that actually do the strapping, they spend a lot of times with the specific crews to get to know their likes and dislikes. 31, so he's going to be an International Space Station crew member, launched in about the 2012 time frame. He's been with us since the 2004 class, so he's got quite a bit of experience here on the ground crew, getting folks strapped in and sent off as well. So he's the guy in charge from the astronaut office perspective of making sure these guys are all set to go as they go through. And you can see right now he's doing individual comm checks with Butch and making sure that he can talk to him over the loops. It's not over the mission audio yet, not the big comm check with the firing room and with Mission Control Center, but he's just making sure the integrity within the suit is good. And so check the integrity of the suit. And what Butch is doing right now is what we talked about before. He's pumping up the suit. You can see his suit's getting a little bit bigger. He's got his helmet closed, and that's when we pump up the suit to make sure the suit integrity is good. You can see he kind of looks like the Michelin Man there. Pump yourself up, and that gets all the wrinkles out. It checks the integrity of the suit and makes sure everything's all set to go.